Hello everyone! In this informative YouTube video essay, I will be covering a pretty tense and touchy subject. That being said, I do have to issue a trigger warning for topics not limited to, but will be including human flesh consumption, human starvation, and statistics dealing with distressing realities in neighboring countries. But to begin, I have a question for you. Have you ever watched the show Hannibal, or perhaps watched some documentary about people in foreign countries such as the Amazonian area and heard the term cannibal thrown about? You would think surely no other person is capable of eating another, right? But truthfully, they are. Cannibals are very real, and cannibalism is frowned upon practically everywhere you go. But what if I told you that it didn't have to be? I'm here to give the argument that cannibalism can be a good thing in specific circumstances. It may seem wrong to you, but let me put you in the shoes of someone who hasn't eaten in weeks. No food at all, not even animal meat is available. Desperate people turn to desperate measures. Hunger makes us do strange things. Here, I will explain how government-sanctioned cannibalism in third world countries can help high overpopulation and starvation percentages. First, let me start by going over cannibalism and its place in human history. It's been a large staple for many years, and no, that image of the primitive tribe cooking someone over a fire you're imagining now isn't as accurate as you might think. Anthropologically, cannibalism was used in rites of passage, spiritualistic rituals, and many such instances. An article posted by Britannica.com titled Cannibalism Definition, History, and Meaning gives the definition of cannibalism as cannibalism, eating of human flesh by humans. The term is derived from the Spanish name Carabales or Cannibales, for the Carib, a West Indies tribe well known for its practice of cannibalism, a widespread custom going back into early human history. Cannibalism has been found among peoples on most continents. They also go on to state that human flesh was equal to many in the same right as in animals. In the country of Melanesia, they called it pigjin, which loosely translates to long pig. Cannibalism was mostly ignored as it wasn't a major issue until the Donner Dinner Party in 1940. It was such a gruesome sight to many that colonizers declared cannibalism as a sick and, quoted, disgusting use of thine brother's flesh. This was also posted by Britannica.com in the article Donner Party History. Cannibalism wasn't deemed illegal in the United States and never has been. There is no law that explicitly states it's illegal, though that doesn't mean it isn't frowned upon. This applies to other countries as well. Now, to get on with my first major point here, as we have been well aware of for many years, dozens of, quote, third world countries are malnourished due to this overpopulation, as well as other factors, medicinal issues, shelter, natural disasters, etc. And I am sure you've seen those ads to bring awareness to these issues. These percentages around the world are concerningly high. In the briefing covered by the World Food Program posted on WFP.com, in the article Global Report on Food and Population Prices, states that out of 59 third world countries, 21.5% of them suffered from dangerously low food levels and such a high population that it was impossible to keep everyone fed. This means that roughly 33 to 38 of these countries are struggling. Associations from all over the world have tried and failed to come up with a definitive solution, ranging from teaching them better farming techniques to shipping food over, and even a heavier number of contraceptives available at cheaper prices, but nothing has helped. Food continues to dwindle while these people suffer. But what if there was something that could be done to give more food options and reduce these high population numbers? Well, that is where the anthropological strategy of, quote, government-sanctioned cannibalism, or the human and human food proposal comes in. Now, cannibalism, when controlled, can be a huge marker to help combat these issues in these poorer countries who are in obvious need of help. This practice is not illegal, yet would still need legal constraints from the government, such as keeping people in check and ensuring no one migrated to these areas to commit these acts just for pleasure. But that I will cover in a moment. To start, cannibalism can help simultaneously control these issues for many reasons. I will tell you how. Humans cannot safely eat another human's flesh, as there lies a parasite there that only affects us and will even kill us. It's called Placentaphora malariae, or man-eating bug. This parasite is only contracted when one human consumes another. A study posted by Drs. Mandy Bunk, Mahari E. Alexander, Jamie T.A. Dick, Melanie J. Hatcher, Rachel Peterson, and Allison M. Dunn titled, Eaten Alive, Cannibalism is Enhanced by Parasites, on PubMedCentral.com say that, and I quote, Overall, we show that infection with the parasite P. malariae altered cannibalism rates and feeding preferences on conspecific victims. This, in turn, may increase the rate of juvenile mortality over and above conventional virulence effects, which could lead to changes in population stage structure and density. Furthermore, this interplay between cannibalism and parasitism could have powerful impacts on population and community resilience in changing environments, whereby cannibalism becomes an important mechanism in preserving populations. End quote. This quote shows that while the parasite is inflicted, they can also help crucially high numbers dwindle. This is where another important aspect of cannibalism can come into play. Human flesh, when eaten by an already sickly, malnourished, and ill person, can kill them in less than 2 years, whereas when consumed by a fully healthy person, can take anywhere from 5 to 8 years to kill them off. See, this is why cannibalistic practices can help these populations. One person eats another or even multiple other persons. That takes care of starvation, while effectively taking out multiple people, including themselves, off the food chain. It's a situation, unfortunately, very similar to the saying robbing Peter to pay Paul. A desperate and starving person will eat others for that last glimmer of survival, only to die off sooner rather than later due to their own weak disposition. In wording, it may seem cruel or unethical, but it could truly end up helping more than what I am sure you're imagining now. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, that's cruel, or come on now, that's unethical, don't worry, I'm going to offer some respite into my argument that may paint my picture a little clearer. In the anthropological/philosophical work published by Dr. Kerr entitled What Are the Ethical Concerns Regarding Cannibalism on philosophyexchange.org, it states multiple times how bad cannibalism is, but not when it is done in a means of survival or desperate measures. Many also raise concerns about others breaking over borders and moving to these said countries to legally practice cannibalism without any damaging respite. Another large concern is the ethicality and morals behind this input. Many people find it cruel to force those in situations they can't help to eat other people like their family, friends, or just people in general. In the witness testimony in the article Ulterior Justification for Survivor Cannibalism, posted by PrindleInstitute.org, anonymous confessor comes forward to say that, and I quote, "I am disgusted by the thought, unfairly treating these people and enticing them to consume human flesh, while knowing it will soon kill them is a disgusting act, even in a moment of crisis. This alone shows that not everyone is quite on board with this idea, thinking it to be gross or inhumane in many ways. And they're right, but we have to remember that we're all just humans at the end of the day, nothing but animals with a conscience, which brings me to my next portion. Arguing back against this, I pose the age-old wording of, in desperate times, desperate people turn to desperate measures. You may not understand what it is like to walk in the shoes of another starving person, but there are thousands of people out there struggling with this as their reality right this second, some of which have admitted to already committing the act of cannibalism, eating an older relative or a terminally sick person in their town or village. Humans still rely on basic instincts, no matter how civilized we claim to be. At the end of it all, we are animals, the most dangerous of which in the world, still born and bred with natural instincts, like anything else on this planet. But many people may be okay with cannibalism being put into place to help these third world countries where populations are sky high, but the food is barely manageable or able to be found. Only these third world countries where it is the worst should this be legalized and managed by the government. According to actionagainsthunger.org, the article published by their team with the title The World's Hungriest Countries, the ones at top are Haiti, Sudan, Mali, and more recently Gaza. They have a population capita of 35% stronger than what their countries and even those surrounding them can produce as far as resources like food go. If cannibalism were introduced and given as an option, I'm sure these starvation and overpopulation problems would dwindle. It could help in more ways than just surface-level facings. It could also open up a new brand of culture and show how humans can adapt to any situation we are faced with. Anthropologically speaking, it would be self-sufficient and would reduce these high population numbers. So perhaps some natural resources in the area could return and the ecosystem could potentially return to normal, aiding in the global crisis of the Earth's natural resources dwindling due to humans and their overconsumption and huge population sizes destroying natural niches. Another option to add to this solution to keep it more sanctioned, or in a way, offer consent to those being consumed, is basically a situation similar to an organ donation registry. A close friend of mine brought up in discussion that, if done right, people could sign on to have their flesh donated to family and friends after they pass. A consent form is offered, or even explicit expression of agreement should be enough for people's conscience to rest. But Could this actually work? I don't believe so. As nice as it sounds, there are many flaws in this flesh donation registry. Many would feel guilty and some even disgusted by the idea of giving their flesh to their loved ones. Plus, when offered, even starving people would have a hard time facing the reality of eating a loved one, regardless if the person gave express consent. That's why I believe more of a law just giving the okay would work better, as those who did eat another person wouldn't feel as singled out and guilty for eating anyone they associated with on a registry for the sole purpose of being butchered and dispersed, and would feel even less guilty for eating said person. Plus, it's not too uncommon for cannibalism to be placed in media. It's been a subject of plot fillers or scary stories since 1706. At least that's as far back as it's been traced in written wording. Some see it as a horror genre, and some see it as a romantic act of obsession, devoting yourself to another so wholly you'd eat them yourself, or vice versa. My top picks for this are the above-mentioned TV show Hannibal, and in a more recent comic book issue of Deadpool and Wolverine, number 7 on page 15. Logan, aka Wolverine, offers a chunk of his own flesh to Wade, who's Deadpool, while he is starving so he can stay alive. Even this character, known for being crazy and over the top, hesitates at the idea, but Logan reassures him that it's just once, for your own survival. This shows that, in means of desperation, consuming another's flesh is okay. But taking this from a comic book sounds crazy, I know. However, it can truly be applied to these situations. Overpopulation leaves many in dire areas with many problems. Eating someone to stay alive yourself isn't a sin or a crime. It's your body's natural instinct to cling to that bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Anything and everything will fight to survive, consciously or not. Which is why I ask you to sit and think about these situations these people find themselves in, and how it is truly a call for a last means of survival to consume another's flesh, even if it weighs on your own conscience. So, at the end of the day, it all comes down to a matter of how many have to starve and pile on before ethics is no longer a problem for those who do not understand being in this situation. So, in this argument, I spoke about how cannibalism has been rooted among humans for centuries, how it can help current overpopulated and starving areas, and what the outcome could be if implemented. Once again, cannibalism can help with these overpopulation issues and large starvation percentages. All you really have to do is think about what you would want or what you would do when faced with a crisis like this. What would you turn to? Would you be willing to eat another? I bet to survive, you would. Thank you so much for watching and listening to my 12-minute ramble over how cannibalism should be legalized and quite possibly used in a cruel way. So as this is just ramble, so right here is where I'm going to place my works cited so it can be seen. And once again, thank you all so much for sitting through this. I hope you have a good day, and please do not like and subscribe. This is my college channel. Thank you.